announced today that former Austin Mayor Leffingwell will become the chair of the Ride-Sharing Works for Austin. He's going to join the Vote for Prop 1 campaign. You're joining us in the studio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. So we were just chatting about Proposition 1.
Right.
You were saying kind of the language on this ballot is a little confusing.
I do want to talk about the ballot language a little bit because it is confusing, and as I mentioned earlier, there's an article in today's paper which kind of lays out that confusion factor. So it's important for voters to know what they're voting for if they vote for Proposition 1, which would ensure that Uber and Lyft can continue to provide those ride-hailing services that Austinites part of our culture now, I believe, and provide that convenient, affordable, and reliable and safe service. And I want to talk just a moment about safety because what is in place now and what we would go back to if voters vote for is the 2014 ordinance. That was an ordinance that was totally vetted by the council, written by the council, and it ensures a nationwide criminal background check for all folks who drive for Uber and Lyft. In fact, the ordinance that we passed has become a national model now. Cities across the country are using the model that we passed in 2014. So it is safe. The background checks that they use provide that. I have a personal story, if I could relay that.
Yes, of course.
Back in January, my wife was in a bicycle accident, and she broke her wrist so severely that she had to have surgery in it. She's got a big titanium plate in her wrist right now, and she couldn't drive for 6 weeks. And so you can imagine how that inhibits your mobility. And I tried to take her places as much as I could, but there's a lot of stuff. You know, she had to go to physical therapy appointments, doctor appointments, not to mention the routine stuff, grocery store, etc. And frankly, I don't know what we would have done without those services.
Well, and do you notice a difference with just them at night? Because that was one of the big things under your administration was trying to make sure people are not drinking and driving and make sure you have safer streets.
That's a big part of it. You know, you've probably read that in 2014, our drunk driving arrests trended down by about 23%, and the ordinance wasn't even in effect for the entire year there. So there has been a cultural shift. I talk to people every day who say, you know, if I have a couple of drinks someplace, I'm not going to get in my car. I'm going to call Uber or Lyft and get that safe ride home.
Well, and now as the chair of the Ride-Sharing Works, what are you going to be doing between now and May to try to get the word out that to vote for Prop 1?
Well, I'm going to be talking to people about it, potentially talking to groups, talking to people like you, and basically trying to clear the air about what this ordinance does and what it doesn't do. I think there's a serious risk that if voters elect not to pass Proposition 1, I can't speak for Uber and Lyft, but there's a serious risk based on past history and past statements that we would lose that service. And in my opinion, that would be a disaster.
All right.
I want to mention one thing, too. Yeah. In the process, you know, we've talked about the new ordinance that the council passed. I want to give the mayor credit. He absolutely tried to broker a compromise and signed a memorandum of understanding with Uber and Lyft, presented that to the council, and they did not pass it. So he tried his best to keep this in effect.
It has been an ongoing saga. There is no doubt about it. Former Austin Mayor Leffingwell, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We certainly appreciate it.